Eating Soup Alone is a podcast hosted by me, Christopher Crumley, and co-hosted by Nicholas Johnson. We try our best to ramble incoherently about a handful of movies at least once a week. Maxxxine.
3 X's, yes.
Capping off a trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Pearl, X, made back-to-back, congruent, whatever.
Yeah, I think Pearl came out a couple months after X.
And now here we are.
What if that happens here?
Where?
What if in a couple months they release a sequel to Maxxxine?
Ooh, that'd be surprising.
I did see somewhere, apparently Ty West said that Maxxxine would be the last one.
Yeah.
But now he's like, I think I'm going to make a fourth. Yeah.
Saw a picture of Ty West the other day?
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah.
Not what I thought he'd look like.
No.
I thought Ty West would have long hair.
I think he does, I thought. Didn't he have like long...
Not on his Wikipedia. Not as recent as the West Venice Film Festival in 2013.
It's like dyed white, but he has like a beard, a little scruff.
Oh, yeah,
beard.
look at him. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Okay, never mind. Ty West looks exactly like I thought he would.
Really? That's not what I thought he looked like.
Yeah.
'Cause he kind of looks like a sexual, perverty, John Waters-y, kind of like... you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got a little bit of that, like a ringmaster at a sex circus for LGBTQ folk.
You know, what is a sex circus?
Well, look it up. See what happens when you type in sex circus.
Sex circus. It's a film from 1969.
Exactly, buddy. So, you like X?
Loved X, yeah. Or liked X, yeah.
Yeah.
And you liked Pearl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like Maxxxine?
I thought Maxxxine fell pretty flat.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like, overall, I will say there's a lot of things that I'm like, you know, like I feel like on paper liking a lot of this, but like I just think like scene to scene it really lacked like a cohesion. Like they just didn't feel like a pulse to it, like a lively, like where are we going? Like I didn't have like a something like pulling me through like a lifeline to like,
yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? To like it just kind of like was happening and it just felt like a bit like burnout. Tired, like maybe they could have like spent a little more time. Like there was no rush to do a third one.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it doesn't feel rushed. It just feels like, because rushed is a different thing. It just feels like they could have taken a breather before they did it. So I wouldn't call it rushed so much as I would just call it like, burnout is a good way to put it. Where it's just like it just lacks like vibe or purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the first thing we said after we saw it was like, there just really wasn't a vibe to that movie. Like there were so many signs and like foreshadowing to a vibe, but it just never came. Like I think the movie looked really good. Yeah. Also, it was like super dark in our theater.
It was very dark. Hard to see shit sometimes.
And I think maybe I might like this movie a little bit more if Pearl didn't exist.
Okay.
Pearl is just so strange, especially as a sequel or a prequel to X. It feels so unnecessary. Like what we talk about all the time is like, no movie really needs a sequel. But if you're going to do one and it's something like Pearl, I'm like, I think that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Like you take your same actress and she plays someone else from that movie, but it's way back in the day and it doesn't really connect to X. Yeah. Other than it happens at the same place. And it's just a little out there and like you don't need to see one to get the other and yada yada. And this feels like a direct sequel to X because it is a direct sequel to X. But it just has like Pearl felt like, oh, I have a cool idea to make another one, where Maxxxine just feels like I should probably make another one. Yeah,
that's a really good way to put it. Like, because X, I've seen it a couple of times now, and I enjoy it more each time because I know what it is, and it's a fun thing. You get, like a modern, loving homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I don't think is just homage. I think it's like a really neat way to like be like, hey, I can actually like copy the look of that pretty decently. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't just come off as like, like
it's got the vibe.
And then we did the Matrix slow-mo thing. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's like, hey, I can do this vibe. So like, why not? Why don't we set like a horror movie in the 70s? It's got the porn stuff. You know, you got a young Jenna Ortega, which now makes it like, even though it's only a couple years ago, it makes it like kind of endearing to me to be like, oh, look at a little
Kenny Omega. Yeah.
Kenny Omega. And you got old folk murderers. It's kind of a bit of a twist, you know. It gives it like this, like with them in the makeup and stuff, it kind of gives it like that barbarian creature feature kind of thing, you know. With Pearl, you know, very like primary colors, slice of hot Americana, Wizard of Oz, you know.
Absolutely.
And like just the juxtaposition of like Pearl and her like innocence with like just the fucking demented, horrible violence that she has the stomach for and doesn't even like register as being fucked up. Like, great. You know, I love Pearl. But yeah, this one is just like, I'm not trying to be an ass, but it's just like a movie.
Yeah,
it didn't really have like a thing that like I feel like it was like doing. Because like it's doing the 80s, but it's not really doing the 80s. It just happens to be the 80s, I feel like.
I will give it to them. There are a few times, especially in like the more violent scenes, where it feels very like shot exactly like you would shoot it in the 80s, but with a modern camera. So it had that feel to it, and I thought that
I kind of like her
cool.
apartment and the street she lives on. It kind of gives it like basket case, like low budget New York, 80s B horror movie, but like just like not enough. Like everything, like I feel like it just had so much potential for vibe and character, and it just didn't fill up those boots.
Yeah, and it was like there's no real like I remember liking everybody in X, and I like the dynamic between the entire group and the old people in the house. Like every relationship between every character and
memorable.
Then, exactly, and then I liked the dynamic of Pearl versus just the world around her, very much so. I feel like in Maxxxine, shit's just kind of happening around her.
Yeah, and I don't really like the characters. I don't like the director that she works with.
I like the director quite a bit.
Okay, but yeah, they're all just kind of like whatever. Like her friend that works at the video store, he's like whatever. You know, there's just like not enough there for me to be like, oh, what a cool guy. You know?
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. If he was like 30% less, I'd probably like him. He's just going for it. And also, why does he look just like Jack Nicholson in Chinatown in this movie? I felt like such a strange call, especially when she cuts his nose. He's got the Band-Aid on for the rest of the movie. I'm like, that's such a strange call.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then,
but again, on paper, I do like I feel like you can have. I don't know. I think. Maybe that's a little bit of the problem, kind of, too, is that, like, I do like the girl in Hollywood with, like, a dark past that's got this PI on her tail that, like, is, like, threatening to, like, unveil it. And it feels... But I think it might be too old Hollywood for the 80s, though.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, she's still... she has the... There are hints here and there. And, hell, I don't know. Maybe if I see it a second time, I'll like it more, or I'll pick up more on this kind of stuff. But... she has a bit of like a Pearl thing to her that you see in X as well, where she's like, I just want to be famous. And at the end where she's like, I just hope this never ends at whatever cause. But also at the same time, she stomps that dude's nuts open. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like Maxxxine should have killed more people in this movie.
That's what, I was going to say the exact same thing. I feel like this movie suffers from like the Saw problem with Jigsaw, where it's like sometimes he's doing like economic terrorism for like the sake of like the little man who's getting stomped on, and then other times he's just like you're a drug addict and you should appreciate life more. Yeah, you know, so so what I'm trying to say is like, yes, I agree with you. I was just going to say the problem with Maxxxine is that yes, she says things like I'll do it at any means necessary, but then the whole movie is her bad things happening to her and her never do anything that's like morally suspect other than the nut stomp thing. But even in that situation, it's like a girl power, like revenge thing.
She puts Kevin Bacon in a car crusher.
Yeah, but she does that with the... He's on her dick.
Yeah, and
she's all over her dick, though. Can you blame her? Yeah. I put Kevin Bacon...
Yeah, and she does it with the help of her agent. Yeah. Which also, I felt like... That felt... Like, when they did it, I was like, okay, this feels right. This makes sense for these characters and where they are. But then I don't know. I wanted more of that. I was like,
it just goes away after a while, yeah. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I guess that's the point, was to make it go away, but it does just kind of go away. But yeah, those are two threads that just kind of go away, you know.
And then the twist of it being her dad. Yeah. Dumb. If I'm being honest.
You don't like that?
Dumb. I didn't like it at all, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you like it if it was the Night Stalker?
I mean, maybe. Sure. Yeah. If she ended up having a crossing paths with a notorious real-life killer and taking them down, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, because my thing is, again, this is my pitch. I'm not trying to say I'm some, like, genius or whatever. I really do feel like with the foreshadowing they had, it would have been an interesting ending to me for the whole trilogy if she did end up getting the fame she wanted because she got murdered by, you know what I mean? Like, and she just became like a Black Dahlia. Like, she became someone who, like, Maxxine Mink, she had all this potential. She was about to be a breakout star after this role that she had, and then she got murdered by the Night Stalker, and now she's like I said, like a Black Dahlia, or like a, you know.
But also the amount of times people keep telling her that in the movie, if that did happen, I'd be like, okay. But also at the same time, since it didn't happen, I was like, okay.
Then what was the point? Yeah, it's like, they said it so often that it was like, then why even say all that?
Also, Halsey's in this movie for like 6 minutes.
I don't know what Halsey looks like. Which one was Halsey?
She's her short-haired friend.
Okay.
And she's gets like damn near top billing, I feel. I feel like leading up to this movie, everyone's just, I heard a lot of people going, yeah, and Halsey's in it. Also Kevin Bacon's in it and Giancarlo Esposito, but also Halsey's in it.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, cool, yeah. And then I feel like I could very easily forget that Halsey's in this movie.
Yeah.
What do you like about this movie, though? Let's say good things about it.
I
think Mia Goth is good in everything that she does.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mia Goth. Definitely a woman who I hope goes on to have a hell of a career.
I think she will. I think she's doing pretty well for herself currently.
Yeah, I just mean, like, I hope it...
keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that does happen sometimes. You know, maybe, you know, you develop Parkinson's or something, or maybe the Shaggy Rogers money starts coming in and you just think, hey, that's, you know, hey, the bag's secured.
Absolutely.
But anyways, what did I like? Yeah, I like Mia Goth. I'm just trying to play it back in my head. I definitely like, there's an early establishing shot of just like 80s LA, and it's like a side-by-side, very colorful, of just like street hassle and, you know, walk, do not walk. That looked good. Like I said, I do like the whole like PI on your tail being like, I know something about you, darling. But I just feel like, again, it's much more Chinatown or 40s than 80s. Like, I just don't know if it was like, if you're doing the Pulp Fiction thing of like, which I feel like, you know, X and Pearl and all this, it kind of is. If you're doing the Pulp Fiction thing of like the aging boxer and stuff like that, like, you know, or like the gangster that's got to take his, you know, boss's girl out. Like, if you were to like lay out the most cliche 80s thing you could do, I don't think I'd go, I want this 1920s Hollywood kind of Louisiana PI thing. You know
it's
what
like
I'm
the house from Psycho and make it part of this movie. And that all
which is cool. I definitely like the Psycho thing, but it's like for the 80s.
You know, it'd be way cooler.
Yeah.
If this was Pearl in Hollywood in the 50s. It happened upon the Psycho house. That'd be pretty cool.
You perfectly fixed the script. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, glad I could.
Yeah, because then even by that point, I wouldn't be that weirded out by the dad twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it would like feel 50s-ish. I don't know why, to me.
Or if Pearl ran into Maxine's dad, and it connected that way.
No, I'm just saying whatever, with it being like a psycho pastor.
Yeah, no,
like
definitely.
Southern.
But if the psycho pastor she ran into was Pearl's dad.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, was Maxine's dad.
Yeah. Gotta see which one of these still has liquid in it. Got 2 cups of tea right here.
Goth reprised her role as Maxxine Minx in the X sequel Maxxine. Goth is set to appear in the crime thriller Sweet Dreams. She's also attached to Guillermo del Toro's Dr. Frankenstein, which I didn't know, which is very exciting, and Marvel Studios' Blade, which is also very exciting.
It is. Blade is a top tier for me. That was one of my, like when I was a kid, that was my guy. Loved Blade. But yeah, I will say, oh God, what did I like? I liked...
Ooh, in January 2024, it was reported that Goth has been sued by background actor James Hunter, who played a corpse on set, for, quote, bullying on the set of Maxxine, including allegations of being, quote, intentionally kicked in the head by her. How does that hit you?
I don't know why. Nothing. I feel nothing.
I'd like to see what James Hunter's all about. Not that I don't believe you, sir, but...
Yeah. But anywho, liked. I feel like here's something I don't like. There's cocaine use in it, but it's just like sometimes she'll do like a bump.
Yeah, and I'm tired of that with 80s stuff. It's just like, I get it. Everyone's doing coke. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Everybody's just doing a bump here and there.
It's just like if you're gonna do it though, like do it for a reason. I just feel like, you know, I feel like her doing cocaine twice in the movie doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but if she was always doing it.
Yeah, it's
and then like she was like maybe like especially like coked out, and like that was like playing into like how stressed she is about everything, and you could just tell that wasn't helping, and it added a layer of tension because she's like out of her mind on drugs on top of everything.
And it definitely feels like she does coke, and then she's like, okay, now I'm normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like, oh, you're not normal, you're stressed out, or you're strung out. And yeah,
she just does like a bump of coke, and then we just keep going on with the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not in there for a reason, I feel like. What else happens in this film? What else happens in this film? I definitely like the little thing of like all these girls who keep going missing, being like, yeah, there's this party in the hills. That's cool. Definitely give me like LA Confidential kind of vibes. You know, just that thing of like little detective work splash of just like, hang on a moment, all of these women who have gone missing have gone to the same starlet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was fun. But again, it's still, you put that in your 1950s script, not the 1980s script, I feel like.
It also, it felt a little, I saw that coming a mile away, but I still liked it regardless.
Yeah.
You keep seeing that VHS cover for the Puritan one.
Yeah.
With the girl screaming.
Yeah.
And then when that suitcase falls down at the end, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of tea bags.
It is.
When the suitcase falls down the stairs at the end, or her head pops out and it's doing the same thing, I was like, I like that. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like in my head right now I'm thinking like, should have had more Boogie Nights vibes.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know? Especially since Boogie Nights is about porn.
Yeah?
You know, and they could have found like a way to like mirror the whole like, the thing that Boogie Nights does where it like transitions from the 70s into the 80s, and then once everything turns into the 80s, it fucking sucks and everybody's on drugs and they ruin their careers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
so
definitely feels like this movie set in the 80s because the last one was set in the 70s, so this one has to be in the 80s. And yeah, it did. There were some moments, like especially like with all like the title treatment and all like the fonts that they chose and stuff like that, and her doing coke every now and then. It keeps trying to be like, it's the 80s, it's the 80s, and then even with those few like I said, I really love those shots that felt like an old slasher. I'm like, man, if you guys really, really leaned into that, like you kind of leaned into Texas Chainsaw for X, I'd be so about it. But they definitely didn't, and I think it was a missed opportunity.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm running out here, but that's a pretty decent snapshot of my thoughts, I think, you know?
Yeah, likewise. I don't think I'm going to give it a rating because I just saw it less than 24 hours ago, so I'd like to sit on it a little longer, but I don't think it's a bad time. I don't think you're going to be like, oh, man, I wasted money if you go see it. So.
No, yeah. I mean, again, I just saw Kinds of Kindness.
Yeah.
And you've not seen it yet, or you have seen it?
I have not.
It didn't do much for me. I'm not going to, like, spoil it, obviously, because I'm sure you want to see it. You're excited to see it.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to go see it eventually.
Yeah. But my quick thoughts are, like, I'm sure you know that it's, like, broken into, like, three smaller things, right? Again, without spoiling anything, my take, you might disagree. A lot of people do disagree. But they all just kind of felt like Black Mirror episodes.
Okay.
And they just kind of, for me, like, there's a middle one that I liked. And then I think I probably liked the first one in the second place, and then the third one just kind of whatever. But they just kind of, same thing with, like, Maxxxine, where it just, like, lacked, for me, like, a purpose. Like, it finishes, and it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, but why? Like, I'm not saying, like, you know my stance. Like, when it comes to movies, like, I definitely am of the David Lynch camp of, like, if you're going to, if you're trying to send it a message, like, you're better off going down to the Western Union. But at the same time, like, there's still, like, you watch a movie, and if it's good, you just feel like, oh, yeah, there was, like, a reason that was made. Like, and that touches me, and I, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I just finished it, and I was just like, yeah, but why? Like, what is the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
Like, what is the, like, these are just three, you know, fucked up in the way that Black Mirror's fucked up episodes of Black Mirror just smashed together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, and I also feel like, I'm talking out of my ass here, but I feel like a lot of times with movies, you, like, get an idea, and you get all this stuff together, and you go, okay. Or you go, or whoever's making it can go, okay, I think I'm going to put this together, and it's going to be something. And I think more often than not, when you see something, you go, oh, yeah, that was. But every now and then, Every now and then it just kind of misses. But also,
Yeah.
art is subjective, so there's probably a lot of people who saw it and
Yeah.
went, "Oh, I know why. I get this."
Oh
movie."
yeah. In my Letterboxd review, I was just like, "This is not a bad movie. It just did not do anything for me."
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, would it be too much for me to describe
No, go for it.
vaguely the plots of each one?
Yeah, go for it.
The first one is about Jesse Plemons being a man who's paid to basically have every decision in his life dictated by his boss, played by Willem Dafoe. So kind of similar to Poor Things in the sense that you get that theme of like this godlike figure,
Okay.
right? Like this person who like literally every day he gets like a letter that's just like, you will have 2 pieces of toast for breakfast and you and your wife will not have sex. And like, you know, and then like he shows up at the office and like basically like Willem Dafoe's like, you did a really good job. You're a great boy. And he's like, you know, been doing it for about 10 years. And I'm not going to spoil what, but basically Willem Dafoe wants him to do something that he's just like, I can't do that. And Willem Dafoe is like, all right, well, then you're fired. And he's like, after 10 years, like, I'm just fired, you know? And so he spends the rest of the movie, like, just basically begging and, like, showing up to, like, Willem Dafoe and just be like, please, like, my life is in shambles now. Like, I need you to, like, hire me back, you know, that kind of a thing. And that's fine, you know? It's just, again, like, I think you can see what I'm saying with the thing of, like, it's like, yeah, it's like an episode of Black Mirror. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, yes, not bad, just, like, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it doesn't come to a place where I feel, like, satisfied of, like, yes. You know, like, I know where, you know, we were going with that. And, like, you took me to a place, and thank you.
Yeah,
you know?
it just doesn't really land the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second one, which is the one that I liked, is more of a traditional, like a changeling story.
Okay.
Of that thing of just, like, Jesse Plemons being married to Emma Stone, and she is, like, a scientist who...
Is Jesse Plemons a different guy in the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Who's been like stranded at sea for like a month or something, and slowly Jesse Plemons is like, this is not my wife. But then slowly Jesse Plemons is very clearly out of his fucking mind. And again, I'm not gonna spoil where this one goes, but that one comes to a much more satisfying, like, land the plane conclusion, where I was just like, yeah, that was a nice little slice. I like that. So huge kudos to the middle story. That one was exactly what I'm looking for. There's a bunch of strange stuff, kind of gruesome stuff that happens that I won't spoil. But that one was satisfying for me. And then the third one also kind of fell into, like, the not so satisfying portion. Trigger warning, this one involves rape. But basically it's about Emma Stone and her colleague kind of being in, like, a religious cult. And they're going around looking for someone who has, like, the power to, like, resurrect the dead. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into super big detail about that, but they're just driving around looking for this person based on Willem Dafoe, who is the cult leader's, like, guidelines of, like, who that's going to be. B-plot is the cult only has sex with Willem Dafoe or whatever, and if you have sex with anybody else who's, like, out in the real world, you are now contaminated and you get, like, excommunicated.
Okay.
Emma Stone has, like, a wife and kid that she does not interact with because she said goodbye to them. But every now and again she kind of sneaks over at night just to be like, hey, and her husband will be like, hey. And so anyways, this is mild spoilers, but without big spoilers, basically one night he does, like, drug and rape her.
Okay.
And then now she's contaminated and she gets kicked out.
Okay.
And she tries to, like, get her way back in by, like, really putting her whole... I guess when it's a woman, you just say she puts her whole pussy into trying to find the lady who can resurrect the dead. And I'm not going to spoil anything past that, but, like, that's kind of like that third one. That one's, like, not so bad, but again, it just kind of comes into this situation of, like, okay, but then, like, you know.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest, you just really sold me on that movie.
Hell
I
yeah.
want to go see it.
That's awesome, yeah. Yeah.
This is a tangent.
Sure.
But you know what's really been pissing me off lately?
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of people say it lately, where they describe something. Not that you just did it, even though you did, but not in the way that I'm talking about. They go, it's like a Black Mirror type thing, where, like, every episode's different. It's like an anthology. Like, every episode's it's a different story. You know. The word you're looking for is Twilight Zone. Like, nothing against it. I've seen an episode of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But
see, I hold it in high reverence. I consider it
know.
one of the best TV shows ever.
But what you mean is it's a Twilight... It makes me so mad when people go, yeah, it's like a Black Mirror type thing. It's like, no, Black Mirror is a Twilight Zone type thing. That's the word you're looking
the way
for
that I
Twilight
differentiate the two is that my problem with the Black Mirror is that it's like, in the future, you're going to be able to play your memories on the screen. And then what if your bitch cheated on you, bro?
Yeah.
And then that just happens for 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with the Twilight Zone, it's like, this is Burgess Meredith, and he's a little bookworm. All he does is read all day, and everybody fucking hates him for it. They're like shitting on him 24/7. And then he wakes up one day, and he's the last man on Earth, and then it's like spooky for a while or whatever, and then like he sits down to like read a book, and his fucking glasses break.
It's great.
And it's like, what? Oh, that was crazy, you know? Or like the first episode is called The Last Man on Earth. They do a lot of the same shit over and over again. But it's just 40 minutes of like 50s, like a guy just like walking around and being like, going to a diner and just being like, say, paying customer here. Hey, anyone around? I want a ham sandwich and black coffee because it's 1954 and I'm fucking a 30-year-old man. Like, anybody? No? And he's just slowly kind of been like, I don't know who I am or where I am. I kind of can't remember anything, actually. And it's kind of really freaking me out that no one's around. Like, hello? And then at the very end, you find out that, like, the twist is that he was, like, an astronaut and that they're preparing to, you know, send some people to space. Mm-hmm. And they're putting him in, like, a sensory deprivation chamber for weeks at a time to see if they can handle, like, the solitude of space. And he just hallucinated all this in his mind. And it basically at the end is, like, them just being like, nope, he's not strong enough. He's not going to be able to withstand, you know, space. Or another one that I'll give you is, like, there's an episode where 3 astronauts crash land on a planet, and they're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, like we only have so much water, and one of them's like, I'm gonna go over that hill and like see if I can, you know, find something. And he comes back and he's like, excuse me, for some reason or another, just like distraught to the point of not being able to communicate. And he draws in the sand, and before he dies, like he just like draws in the sand. He goes, ugh. And then he shows him this, right, in the sand or whatever. And then the other 2 fight over, like, the last little scraps of water or whatever. And finally the guy's like, all right, I'm going to go over the hill, and, like, I'm going to go see what, because I'm the last guy alive and stuff like that. And he gets over the fucking hill, and he's like, landlines! There were landlines! We never left Earth! We never left Earth!
Like, that's great, yeah. Ever,
but, like, Black Mirror never does that. It's always just like, hey, what if someone was like, if you don't pay me $1 million, I'm gonna make you fuck a pig on TV, baby.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
Every episode, I think at least classic, because I know there's a million episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But you can give me the beginning, middle, and twist of the Twilight Zone in 3 sentences, and I'll go, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like that's what I'm saying. Black Mirror always lacks the whoa thing for me, where I'm like that's what I mean when I say the thing of like, why did you do it? Like when you're telling the story, like what's the part that you're withholding from me that you're going to give me at the end that makes the whole thing feel like a satisfying conclusion? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I feel like all the lessons or like satisfying moments in Black Mirror are always just like, yeah, but then also, what if it was your phone? You know, it's like, okay, all right, yeah, I get it, I know. Like they're never telling me it's
it's just like just take like one more step past that to like make me like connect the dot at some point of like the story you were telling. Like it's what I'm trying to get across is like it's like a storytelling thing where it's like the structure of this thing doesn't bring me to a place where I feel clever for having like gone on this journey with you. And it doesn't have to always be it doesn't have to be classic 1960s Rod Serling storytelling. It can also be things like Paris, Texas. I don't know if we watched it for the podcast, did we not?
No, we did not.
But, you know, Paris, Texas is like, just to spoil it as quickly as I can without going into depth about the emotion of it, it's, you know, it's, who's the guy from Alien that wears the trucker hat?
Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, Harry Dean Stanton. And he's just, like, wandering the desert and has amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
And then his brother, who's the singing into the lampshade guy from Blue Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
What's that guy's name?
No idea.
He died.
That's true.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
He's just, like, gets a call from a doctor on the border of Mexico that's just like, hey, we've got your brother here. And he's like, I haven't seen my brother in 2 years or whatever. And so then he picks up his brother to bring him home, and his brother won't talk to him. But slowly, he starts to regain the ability to talk. And slowly, you find out that he had, like, a wife and, like, a kid that he abandoned, right? He starts spending time with the kid. Him and the kid kind of reconnect and stuff. And then he's like, I have to go find this woman, the woman that I had this kid with. And he goes and finds her and stuff like that. And they talk briefly. And he even brings the kid along. And by the end of the movie, he's kind of like, you know, I abandoned you and the kid. And he's like, and honestly, I think you guys are probably still better off without me in your life. And he was like, I've got to go I think, and just he tells like the woman, he's like, you know, our son is in this hotel room, and like you really need to go be a part of his life because he really needs you. And the movie just like ends with like her going to the hotel and like the kid and her like hug and cry and stuff, and it's beautiful. And Harry Dean Stanton is just watching through binoculars on top of like a parking structure, and the movie kind of ends.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
what I'm saying is that, like, yes, like, sometimes when I say the thing, like, I always use Black Mirror. I know what you're saying, but to differentiate what I'm doing from what you're saying is I use Black Mirror as the benchmark for, like, the story just goes where you said it was going to go in the very beginning, and you never did any kind of, like, that's how storytelling works, but you have to, like, deceive me or make me feel clever for getting where you told me we were going. But I never do by the end of it because it's just not solid storytelling for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like so that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, like I feel like that first episode of Black Mirror, which is the senator having to fuck the pig on TV.
Yeah.
It goes and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes, and at the end they go, "Wow, there is no way out of this. You have to fuck a pig on TV."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, okay, that was pretty cool." And then you find out, oh, every episode kind of does end with them having to fuck the pig on TV. It's like, okay, I get it.
It's a good way to put it.
And also, I remember looking at my phone once, and then, like, very recently,
like,
and then turning it off and, like, seeing my own reflection and going,
Season 4.
Fuck, that's what Black... Oh, I'm so mad. Like, it made me so mad that it took me that long to get it.
Yeah.
And it made me even madder that that's what that is.
And also, I want to say, after that long explanation I just went on, I don't feel clever or good about myself. I feel pretentious and like an asshole.
I'll cut it down, don't worry.
So anyways, that's Maxxxine, though. Next movie.
So, you finish a movie and you go, okay, but what was it about? Like, well, why did you make that? What was the point? Chris, what's the point of Ghost Rider?
Cash money dollars, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, sorry I didn't do this for Maxxxine, released in 2007,
Sure.
directed by Mark Steven Johnson, written by Mark
buddy.
Steven Johnson.
Wonderful.
Based on Ghost Rider by Roy Thomas,
Yeah.
Greg Frederick, and Mike Plug.
Yeah.
Starring Nick Cage, Eva Mendes,
Yeah.
Sam Elliott, and I'm sure a bunch of other people.
Sure.
Cinematography by Russell Boyd.
Made $220 million on about a $110 million budget.
Did you look this up?
Not now, but yesterday. Yes.
Okay. It's weird that you remembered it. Ghost Rider was released on UMD on June 12th, 2007. You remember Universal Media Discs?
Nope.
They're the ones that went to the PSP.
Okay.
Those things looked really cool.
Yeah.
While watching this movie, couldn't stop thinking about 1 Hour Photo. Because I was like, God damn, 2 misses for me in a row, basically. And I was so upset. I really lost it.
Yeah.
But also, I can't be mad at Ghost Rider. Chris, I'm not going to look at you while I say this. I really like Ghost Rider.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with Ghost Rider. Chris,
Okay.
how do you feel about Ghost Rider?
I did not pay much attention to Ghost Rider. I feel like Ghost Rider, I hear what you're saying, and I could get into it. It's just so 2007, but that is going to be soon, and probably already for you. It is a draw. I'm sure that's a draw, right?
I wouldn't say it's a draw, but there's a charm to it.
Yeah,
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't totally charming for me just yet, but I suspect that that is a movie that like while we were watching it, Will came over, and he was like, "This is the kind of thing that like this is basically like our generation's like Quentin Tarantino watching a bunch of B kung fu movies and finding the cool shit in it, and then just doing that but well."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like like this is the schlock.
Absolutely.
Of the 2000s, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you like it contemporaneously or whatever, you're a neckbeard, weirdo.
Yeah.
But then, if you let some time pass and you're like, actually, like, there was a bunch of, like, Marvel movies that came out between, like, 2000 and 2007, and, like, I prefer those to, like, the really polished era. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing...
Not to say that's what you're doing. I'm just saying that, like...
Oh, no.
Yes, it is a valid thing where, like, while we were watching it, we were definitely aware of the thing where it's like, this is kind of cool in a way, actually.
Yeah. My Twitter and Instagram, like, recommended shit is full of people who are like, actually, Ghost Rider from 2007, the Fantastic Four from 2005 are actually really well done.
Yeah.
Fuck those people into the ground. Because they're wrong. These movies are objectively bad.
Okay.
You're absolutely, like I'm about to do right now, you're absolutely allowed to like these movies and find things that you like in them.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can watch Ghost Rider 2007 and go, this is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like
I'm sure this is gonna sound great, but I'm gonna go for it anyways. Well, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. I was rifling, so I was getting something ready, cocked and loaded to be rifled.
Every decision that they make,
Yeah.
I can think of 9 other ways you could have done that better.
Yeah. The Grounded for Life guys here.
But like it doesn't. I mean this in the worst way possible. So much of this movie is like, oh, this is a comic book put on screen.
Yeah.
But like in the dumbest way you could possibly do it.
Sure.
But also at the same time, every time I'm fed up with this movie and I'm like, I really wish I wasn't watching Ghost Rider, he flips off a bunch of cops and then goes, yeehaw! And I'm like, love it. So good.
First of all, this is one of my favorite clips.
It's about you jumping on the anniversary of your dad's accident.
And it's him just watching a video of a chimp that does karate beating the shit out of a man.
It's so good.
Immediately after, Grounded for Life turns off the chimp video and he says,
Mac, you touch the Carpenters or that chimp video again, we got a scrap in our hands.
This jump.
if you touch the Carpenters or that chimp video again, we got a scrap in our hands.
I love it.
And then there's this one, which is going to be hard. I'm going to have to just describe it. It's him getting ready for the fucking jump, and he's just looking at himself in the mirror in sunglasses, listening to Superstar by the Carpenters.
It's so good.
So that stuff rocked. I love Nick
there's
Cage as Ghost Rider. Great.
That's what I've come to the conclusion of this week with our movies that we watched, with the exception of Maxxxine.
Yeah.
Is like, oh no, I don't think it matters. I like Nick Cage no matter what he's doing, when he's doing it, and where he's doing it.
Yeah.
And like,
I've been saying it, dude.
Every Nick Cage movie you watch.
Have you seen Raising Arizona?
Yeah, we did it for the show, and you've asked me twice on the show if you watched Raising Arizona. Every time I start a Nick Cage movie, I go, okay, this is what Nick Cage is doing for this movie. All right. And then one scene later, I'm like, this is a real guy. No matter how insane or unbelievable he is, I'm like, this is a real guy and is no longer Nick Cage to me. He's so good. I just love him in everything. And yeah, there are moments like that where he's just looking at himself in the mirror in that ridiculous outfit, listening to the Carpenters. I'm like, this should be this movie. This whole movie should be that.
Yeah, that's my complaint about Ghost Rider is like, obviously more of that.
Yeah.
Like, he's jacked in this movie, too.
For no reason, yeah.
No, Ghost Rider does not need to be jacked because he turns into a flaming skeleton.
Bones, yeah.
He's bones, yeah. If you are bones, you don't need muscle. So, but yeah, Nick Cage deserves his flowers for this. Absolutely. I'm a Nick Cage fanboy. I don't give a fuck.
But
You're right.
So good.
Yeah,
Love
like,
him.
Yeah. Coolest guy ever. But, yeah, so definitely love him. Love the Carpenters thing. Love the Chimp videos thing. Like, he is, like, in terms of a character being like believable and having a personality and like character traits, like Nick Cage is killing it. This is locked in. Johnny Blaze is a man. I believe it.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Like there's so, like even little things where it's just like, oh man, like
he's always eating jelly beans.
That I didn't like. But there are little things that he does where I'm like, yeah, as someone in the Ghost Rider 2007 movie, you don't need to be putting this much work into it. But like small things where like he's like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And she goes, she's like, I'm willing to listen to anything you have to say. Tell me what's happening to you. And he just goes, with his arms before he tells her. I'm like, that's great. That's perfect. I love that. And, or like when he's talking to the cops, he's so unbelievably charming for no reason. Yeah. And it's just great. Yeah. Or when she agrees to go on a date with him and he goes, yes! I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. So we start and this thing just has so much 2007 stank on it. But we start basically with like a young Johnny Blaze, and this is Eva Mendes, right?
Yes.
And she's married to Ryan Gosling, right?
They're not married, but they have like 4 kids together, and they've been together for like 20 years.
Yeah, because they've been together since like
or 10
The
years.
Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that cute story of Ryan Gosling just be like, we were like pretending to be a couple with kids in the movie, and then at the end of it, we're both just kind of like, why don't we just keep doing that?
That's very cute. Yeah, I love that.
They're like on a picnic, and then you meet Johnny's dad, and Johnny's dad's all like, jump a car, how about jump a helicopter? But he's got cancer. Yeah, a little bug, huh?
Inside bug, crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, he's got cancer, and then the guy shows up, and while I was watching the guy
Chris,
show up,
when did you figure out that his dad had cancer?
When the devil told him.
Yeah.
When did you figure out?
I figured it out the first time you see him, and he pulls out a pack of cigarettes and then goes, ugh, ugh. And then maybe 60 seconds later, they cut to another scene, and he's going, "Bleh, bleh," and pulls out a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then I think a little bit later, he does it again. And then when he finds his dad sleeping, he picks up a letter from the doctor that says, "The cancer has spread." And I went, I get it. He has cancer.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't as locked in as you were.
I wasn't that locked in, if I'm being perfectly honest.
The devil shows up, and immediately I thought, if you're going to have the devil in your movie, what do you make him look like? Right?
You make him look like Wes Bentley.
Who the fuck is Wes Bentley?
The guy who plays the devil, I think.
Okay. Well, my pitch to
Wes
you...
Bentley's the devil's son.
Okay. Well, my pitch to you is...
You make him look like Peter Fonda, sorry.
Okay. Well, my pitch to you is Burgess Meredith and the Devil's Printer. I'm sorry I'm going back to the Twilight Zone. I probably sound like the biggest asshole in the world. But
it's fine. I brought it up the first
Twisty
time.
Cigar. You
Love
know,
it.
Just Burgess Meredith.
Love a twisty cigar,
He's chewing on this twisted up cigar. You know Burgess Meredith. He's
Sure do.
Rocky's coach. He's like, you're going to eat lightning and grab thunder. You know, he just got that voice. And he's just kind of like vaguely schlubby but intense.
Also, speaking of Rocky, we'll get there when we get there. Crazy to me that the guy in Moonstruck who's always talking about the moon isn't Rocky's friend from Rocky. Because I thought for sure that was him.
You know, he's wearing like a t-shirt, not a t-shirt, but like a button-up shirt that doesn't fit him perfectly. And he's got a skinny tie, and he's got a little open vest. You know, and he's just, you got Moxie, kid. He's just like, you know, the little guy. You know?
Yeah, but what if it was 2007? Matrix coat and a cane with a skull on top of it?
It's so Spirit Halloween.
It is. Yeah, this movie's Spirit Halloween.
This movie's so Spirit Halloween. And that's the part that kills it. It's like you got all the cool Nick Cage stuff, and then just randomly, like, the band fucking Senses Fail shows up, and they're like, Dad, I'm going to usurp you, Methysopoli. You know, like, it's just like... Ugh.
And you know I'm evil because my face turns into, like, a blue Snapchat filter sometimes when I whisper in your ear.
Somebody will wake up, realize I made up everything.
They are absolutely, like...
But yes, the blue filter thing is right. Yeah.
This movie was going on, and I was like, I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. And then those guys showed up, and I went, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
I really hate this.
Yeah.
They, like, I mean, I don't want to, we don't have to harp on it too long about how much all those guys suck, but they just, like, it's just the, you touch someone and their face turns blue.
Yeah.
And then they're, like, everything looks like a Snapchat filter in this movie. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they die, and I was like, what are these guys doing? Like, why are they here? Like, I get it, they're mad at Devil Dad, but also, what is your plan? And he's like, I'm gonna eat a bunch of ghosts. And it's like, okay, cool.
You know what I thought about as you were saying the Snapchat filter thing? It's like crazy that cost $110 million then, and now you can just do it for free on Snapchat.
I'd say 109 million went to making the Ghost Rider.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
technology is at a point where I can just do Ghost Rider on Snapchat now.
That's a great point. Yeah.
But I will also say his skull in the flames really look good to me. I think Ghost Rider looked good.
I think he looked good. I thought he sounded so dumb. Yeah. Hey, I'm a Ghost Rider. Like, it was like, I can't.
I'd rather him be cackly.
I'd rather him fucking shut up and say nothing. Yeah, or be cackly.
That'd be good.
Just be one way or the other. He's both. He's cackly and spooky, and it's bad. But him and Eva Mendes are gonna run away together. And he tells his dad, and his dad's like, you're fucking stupid. We gotta jump motorcycles. What are you doing? And he's just like, but her dad's mad. And he goes, take a cool motorcycle. Get out of here. I'll never see you again. And then he dies. Also, we missed him signing the deal with the devil. He signed a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
And then,
Love a deal with the devil, gotta say.
Always do. Yeah. I thought it was dumb at first, but then I was like, it's okay.
Love a deal with the devil.
And then we flash forward to him as an adult.
He's just jumping shit, man. He's
Just
the best to
jumping
ever jump.
ships. He's the best to ever jump, but everyone's like, he's invincible because he keeps crashing. Just keeps crashing.
And then just stands up. He goes, where's my jelly beans at?
But also, fucking stop closing your eyes and thinking about Eva Mendes every time you look at the ramp you're landing on, and you'll land, man. And like the third time he did it, I was like, this has to be a joke. This has to be a bit that they're pulling on me. But he keeps...
Also, I will say, funny as fuck to me that, like, in the very beginning, when we're doing the thing where, like, him and Eva Mendes are, like, in love, they get an actor that's younger to play Johnny Blaze, but they just have Eva Mendes just be Eva Mendes. There's not a younger actress playing her.
Are you doing a bit right now?
No, I'm not.
That's absolutely a younger actress. They just drew a little beauty mark on her.
Are you serious?
I'm absolutely
Dead
serious.
serious?
Yeah, it's a different woman.
Wow. Well, hey, You
Get
picked
on
the
'em.
perfect woman because it
They got
looks
you.
just like Eva Mendes. to
Fooled
me.
you, yeah.
Yeah, fooled me.
Also, this is where you find out that apparently one of Ghost Rider's signature things is to point at someone like this, because he does that at the devil for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, stands like Elvis and points.
Yeah.
Do you think that kid did it, or Nicolas Cage started doing it, and they're like, we got to go back and reshoot young guy stuff, because you got to start pointing like that?
What's that movie, like 3,000 Miles to Graceland or something?
I had no idea.
Hang on. I'm going to try to look this up. I think it's like a movie where Nick Cage...
Plays Paul Simon.
No. They like rob a bank and they all dress up like Elvis impersonators.
Okay.
But Nick Cage might not be in it. No, it's Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner, Courtney Cox is in it, David Arquette, Bokeem Woodbine,
That sounds like a movie that should have...
Christian Slater, Kevin Pollack, and
Yeah.
Disney McCracken. Disney McCracken is crazy. That's a crazy ass name.
That sounds like a movie that should have Nick in it, though.
It does. It cost $50 million to make. They made $20 million. Real quick plot rundown. Whoa, that's actually long. That's not quick. What the fucking hell? Let's look at reception really quick. Oh, it opened behind Down to Earth and Hannibal. It's got a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, anyways, yeah, that's that movie. Have you ever read a Ghost Rider comic?
No, I'm not super familiar with Ghost Rider, other than I think he looks cool.
Okay.
And also, he's in the Fantastic Four at one point.
Okay.
And also, there's like 3 of them. I think, not the current one, but I think because, yeah, there's a few different, like, as you find out in this movie, Ghost Rider's a thing that multiple people can be.
Sure.
I think the last Ghost Rider they had was a dude who drove like a lowrider. That was pretty cool.
In real life?
Or like just a cool car. But like it was Ghost Rider in a car, and I was like, that's pretty sick.
That's not that cool. I'm just looking at pictures of Ghost Rider right now.
Oh, that's Ghost Rider in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. I wasn't saying that was cool. Just in the comic books, he's got a Ghost Rider car, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. Cool, though. Flaming Skull, always cool, dude. Bones that are on fire?
Yeah, but
Super cool.
I will say, specifically in the 2007 Ghost Rider movie,
Yeah.
keep the gloves on, because your little bony hands look strange.
Yeah.
He's got this big hulking body, and then she's these tiny little ghost
Yeah.
hands.
Plus, it probably saves you a little bit of cashola, baby. But it really did make me horny for Ghost Rider. I was like, Ghost Rider's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider's
Oh,
a
dude,
cool
when
guy.
we're done with this and I go home, I'm watching Ghost Rider 2. I'd like to see what that's all about.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to watch it for the podcast. A legend is born. Where are we at in the movie? Oh, wait, I'm not. Do you know who Ghost Rider, like, usually, like, fights? Like, who is his...
Just like demons and shit.
Okay.
Like the guys who were in this movie, but they look like big, cool demons, I think.
Like, why wouldn't you make them look cool?
Because they only had $110 million. And
They spent it all on the flaming head?
They spent it all on the flaming head and the cool motorcycle.
Yeah, cool motorcycle, yeah.
Which I understand.
Yeah. So do you think in the second one they spend more money on the cool demons, or?
I would say it might be easier to make cool demons because it's 2012.
Yeah. Because I feel like, again, I get it. But in terms of, like, spending money, like, this picture I'm showing you is all you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spend more money on the demons. For reference, I'm showing him a picture of, like, what looks like a screenshot of Ghost Rider from the 70s or 80s, where he's just on a bike, no flame, no skulls, and his whole body's covered up by leather, so the only thing that the artist had to draw was a skull with a little bit of flame on top. That's all you had to do.
I would to push it just a little bit further, I would say make the
Wheels on fire or something.
the wheels on fire of a normal motorcycle. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Also, probably the motorcycle budget on this movie was probably pretty high because they had a lot of crazy, stupid 2007 motorcycles in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, this one looks like it was drawn by Todd McFarlane.
I do love that.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the film, though. So where are we at in the film?
Sorry, I'm reading about Ghost Rider 2, and I'm just looking at this picture on Wikipedia, and it says, a special prop, the Bagger 288, the heaviest land vehicle in the world from 1978 to 1999. Are you telling me this is in this movie? It's like one of those big, like, construction vehicles that's, like, the size of buildings,
Okay.
And if Ghost Rider gets into one of those and it turns into a ghost bagger,
Yeah.
oh, baby. I'm already excited about this movie. Anyway, it's current day, and Ghost Rider is normal riding. He's jumping cars and shit, and then Married with Children. That's not the show. 8 Simple Rules. That's not the show.
Yeah.
Grounded for Life. Is that the show?
Yes.
Donald Logue. That's his name.
Yeah, I actually like that show. He also shows up in The X-Files, the episode Squeeze, with Victor Eugene Toombs in it. And he comes to Scully at a lunch, and he's like, hey, you're hanging with that spooky chump, but I got this unexplained case. You should come work it a little bit. And then Spooky Mulder comes with him, with Scully. And he's like, hey, I think this is a guy that has no bones. And Greta for Life is mad at him for being spooky.
He's also in the Max Payne movie where he plays Detective Jim Bravura, I want to say.
Right.
With Mark Wahlberg.
Okay. Is Mark Wahlberg Max Payne?
Yeah, Max Wahlberg is Mark Payne.
Anyways, back to this film, though.
Back to this film, though. He's going to jump a football field. And
Yes.
before that, Eva Mendes goes in an interview for an old friend, and he's just like, whoa. Yeah. And then he doesn't answer any of her questions, and
Yeah.
she's clearly very bad at her job. It's the worst interview I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, and her cameraman's really bad at his job, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, she leaves, and he's sitting there before the jump on the football field, and Donald Logue goes, thank God you got rid of the cars. And he goes, think she's probably on the freeway by now? He goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm just glad you got rid of those cars because you can land on the grass now. And then a bunch of helicopters come in.
Blackhawks.
And he's like, what the fuck? Why are you doing helicopters? Couldn't have done without the flashback, but I really like him going, my dad thought it was pretty cool.
And then the flashback is that goes like, forget a car. We're jumping helicopter.
No, he doesn't even say that. He goes, you know what would be cool? If we jumped a helicopter instead of a car. It's like, okay, Dad, let's get out back to the state fair.
He was like, you know what'd be cool? We jumped a helicopter. Be bitching.
So good. And then he jumps the helicopters and then immediately leaves. And then catches up with her on the freeway, which I liked.
Yeah.
Schlocky as all hell, but
Yeah.
I like it. And he's like, let's go on a date later. And she's like, okay. And he's like, yeah. And then that night he's getting ready for the date. She's there seemingly 2 hours
Way
early.
too early. And unbeknownst to him, the devil's wheeling and dealing on his behalf. Just decides that's the night he's going to be Ghost Rider for the first time.
Because Devil's son shows up and goes,
I'm going to eat Ghost Dad.
yeah, fuck off, Dad.
And I'm going to usurp you, Dad.
You can't hurt me on Earth. And he goes, but my rider can. And he's like, I don't care. We're beating up hillbillies at a bar.
Yeah, and we will kill your rider.
And then he goes, Ghost Rider, listen. They're beating up hillbillies.
Yeah.
He's going to eat ghosts. I need you to do something about it. And he goes, listen, I have seemingly forgot about our last interaction, so fuck you. I'm going to go on this date with this woman.
Yeah. And then he's looking in the mirror and his hands turn orange.
They do. No, he gets out. His hands turn orange, and then he goes outside and goes, that was weird. And then Devil's like, go get him. And then the motorcycle turns on fire, and he's going too fast, and he blows up a cop. And then he turns into Ghost Rider and just immediately goes, I guess he turns into a different guy when he turns into Ghost Rider.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, and Dr. Ghost Rider goes, bah, and starts getting all the guys, and one of them's like, uh-oh, I'm a puddle, you can't move, and then they smash him with a truck.
Yeah.
And he goes, which he does, I feel, a couple times. He does the finger wag back and forth.
Yeah.
And beats him up, because I guess that's
It's his
Ghost
chain?
Yeah, he beats him up with a chain, and then stops him mugging for some reason.
Yeah, and just straight up murders a mugger.
Yeah, which, I don't know, maybe because I'm a woke 2024 liberal.
Yeah.
But I guess this is just what we were doing in 2007. Whenever I see...
feel like if you're a flaming skull, though, you murder.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't be into it if he just beat up that guy. If you're a flaming skull, you murder.
beat up like a...
You know what I'm saying?
If he get, like, not saying that I need this out of this movie, but if, like, he came across a sexual assault, maybe I would get it. But when I see a mugger, I'm like, no one mugs just for the fun of it. Someone mugs somebody because they're like, fuck, I need money. So I felt like...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you have signed a deal with the devil where you are turned into a flaming skull, be out in your control, that's what you do. That's how you dole out. That's how you dole out.
I'm saying...
Not in a Punisher way. I'm not saying, like, yeah, he's a fucking scum, kill him. I'm just saying if you're a demon-headed... motorcycle monster, you murder. That's what you do. You murder.
But I'm saying if you're a demon-headed motorcycle monster, you don't go, I gotta stop this mugger.
Oh yeah, that's
you
what
got
it is,
bigger
'cause,
shit going on than
for sure.
a mugger.
Yeah.
You know, who is mugging? What's her name? She was in like Pitch Perfect. She was really big for a while and then stopped. Like just fell out of public
Is she
consciousness.
Australian?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't remember.
Rebel.
In the movie, she's Wilson. She's dating a guy who has like alopecia in a movie.
Wilson.
Yeah.
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 Is that her?
Yeah. Maybe.
Great.
Look it up.
Anyway, Ghost Rider then goes ghost somewhere. Where does he go from there? I can't remember where he goes after stopping the mugger, and he does the cool stare. Where he goes, "Look into my eyes," and then they see all their bad deeds, and their eyes turn into stone. Did that guy die?
Yeah, that's Rebel Wilson.
He
The
blinked.
mugger guy?
Yeah.
He blinked, which I think is like them trying to sell like he didn't die. But when your eyeballs do that, when they turn into dust and then crumble, you're dead.
Yeah.
You can try to do that all you want, like, oh, he didn't murder. He murdered. He murdered. That was a murder.
Oh, he runs into Sam Elliott. Like, he drives his bike into Sam Elliott's house.
Into Sam Elliott's house, which happens to be the cemetery.
And he wakes up and goes, "Oh, what happened?" And he goes, "You're a ghostwriter." And he goes, "Oh, leave me alone." And he runs away.
Yeah.
And then he goes to find...
You ever seen a film called Bridesmaids?
And then he goes and sees Eva Mendes, who's, like, doing news reports on the people who...
were murdered.
Which... Where's this all, like... What city does this take place in?
It's in Texas somewhere.
Okay. Does he live in Texas?
Yes.
Ghostwriter?
Yeah.
And so he was finishing a tour and then came back to do his big helicopter jump homecoming.
I think so.
Okay.
I can't confirm this. I just know that I've seen road signs that say Texas in the film.
Yeah, I remember that now that you say it. Anyway, he's like, I'm sorry, go on a date with me. And she's like, no, you made me look stupid. And...
He meets an old man named the Caretaker.
Unconvinced, she walks away in disbelief. He tells her, he's ghostwriter. After being imprisoned for murders Blackheart committed. Oh, right, they bring him to jail.
Wait, he returns to the Caretaker, who tells him of his predecessor, Carter Slade, a Texas Ranger, who had hid the contract of yada, yada, yada. Anyways, continue.
He gets taken to jail.
Yeah.
Because they find his license plate. And then go, and these guys all got set on fire. And you jump through fire at your shows.
Dying Blaze.
So that means you did the fire. So he goes, guys, listen, I want to
Cartoon-ass detectives.
He goes, listen, I want to be a cop one day. I wouldn't lie to you. I didn't commit any murders. Yeah. And they're like, throw him in the brig. And he goes, no, because at nighttime, if I'm around bad people, I turn into a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown around by the bad people. And he goes, hey, cool jacket. And he takes one of their jackets. And Chris, if I got thrown into a jail like that for something I didn't do, I would say the coolest thing that could happen to me, the best outcome, is that one of those prisoners explodes into a ghostwriter, kills the rest of them, and then looks at me and goes, innocent, and then leaves. Don't know why that was in there, but I was like...
This makes me want to make a really good ghostwriter movie.
Well, maybe next week we'll watch one.
Well, next week we gotta go back to Bond and Saw, but then the next week...
Jesus Christ, okay.
Yeah.
And then he fucks around and flips off some cops, which I thought was pretty cool. And then he lassos a helicopter for some reason. And then fights a wind guy who he sucks up into a vortex.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and sees Sam Elliott. And Sam Elliott's like, they're looking for... Oh, yeah, the bad guys are also just doing shit. Looking for a graveyard, maybe. For a contract. What was the contract that Sam Elliott had?
Sam Elliott had...
The contract.
He had the contract of San Venganza. That's what Wikipedia says. Who hid the contract of San Venganza.
Yeah, it's crazy that the Wikipedia never mentions the contract of San Venganza ever before this.
At home, Johnny discovers that Blackheart has killed his friend Mac and taken Roxanne hostage, intending to kill her if Johnny does not deliver the contract.
So he goes to Sam Elliott to find the contract, and he goes, hey, it's been here the whole time, and then breaks the shovel, and it was inside the shovel. And he goes, also tricked you. I was the other Ghost Rider. And then he pulls up on a horse, and they turn into Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider horse. And I went, hell yeah, out loud. And then they ride together to the place, and they play, is it Riders of the Storm? Or Ghost Riders in the Sky by Johnny Cash?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I was making a list on the Letterboxd while this was happening. I missed it.
It's the coolest part of the movie, because Sam Elliott turns into a Ghost Rider. And
known as Carter Slade.
Yeah.
Who in the comics is known as Phantom Rider.
So sick.
Look at him there.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Is that what he looks like in the movie?
No, he looks like Ghost Rider. He's got a flaming skull and a flaming skull horse. And
so are they indistinguishable?
They look pretty identical, except one of them's a cowboy and one's on a motorcycle.
That's good, yeah.
And it's pretty sick. And they ride together, and like he's riding his motorcycle, and there's a big fire trail behind it, and there are just like hoof prints on fire behind him.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. And they're riding next to each other.
Yeah,
and it's playing Ghost Rider in the Sky by Johnny Cash, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture. This is pretty sick.
And then they get to the place.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it's so sick. And then they get to the big showdown place, and Sam Elliott goes, well, good luck out there. I'm going to go.
I just love a ride.
He goes, that's it for me. I can only transform one last time. So, goodbye. And it's like, so you just transformed one last time to have a cool ride with one of my boys?
Yeah, how about this? Save that fucking money and spend it on making the demons look like cool demons.
Or make them look less like demons, and have Cowboy Ghost Rider hang out with them at the end through the whole thing. And
I just figured we'd have a good time.
And he goes, remember, stick to the shadows, because in the daylight, you look dumb. So, he has to fight
Blackheart.
And
his boys? Any boys left?
And his boys, yeah, he beats one up underwater.
Okay.
And then comes out and beats up another one doing something else I don't remember. And then meets Blackheart, and Blackheart's like, man, give me the contract. I'll give you your girlfriend. And he's like, get rid of the girlfriend first. And he throws her. He's like, all right, here's the contract. And then he's like, fucking, you work for me now, bitch. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then they fight in the shadows because it's daytime now, so he can't turn into Ghost Rider unless he's kind of in the shadows. And then Eva Mendes shoots him with a gun, and Ghost Rider's like, give me the gun. And she's like, it's out of bullets. He goes, give it to me, because I can turn it into a Ghost Rider gun that has Ghost Rider bullets.
Hell yeah.
And he shoots him. Doesn't work. I mean, it works, but then he's like, psych, I already ate all the ghosts. And then he goes, oh, but remember earlier when I tried to spooky stare you? And you're like, I ain't got no soul.
They call it the penance stare.
Yeah. The spooky stare. And he does the spooky stare on him earlier, and it doesn't work because he don't have no soul. And he's like, psych, you just ate all those ghosts, now you got all the souls. And he goes, no. And then the movie's basically over.
It don't matter because the body ain't got no soul.
They were just like, nobody. And then the devil shows back up and goes, great, you can have your life back. And Ghost Rider goes, actually, you know what? No. I want to beat your fucking ass, man. So I'm going to stay being Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And then they're like, cool, now let's kiss and spend the rest of our lives together. Until, I guess, the next movie, because she's not in the next one, because she's busy getting it on with Ryan Gosling. And that was Ghost Rider.
Heard. Yes, chef. All right, I'm giving it the same grade I gave Maxxxine. It's a C+.
I'm going to give this one a C-.
Okay. Excuse me.
Because for all the, like I said, it kept being really dumb, and then every now and then he'd drive past a garage, and some of the lighters would burn out, so it would say rage. And then, like I said, he flipped off a bunch of cops, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, imagine... I don't know, like you got like young cousins, nieces, and nephews.
Yeah.
Like a younger, a younger boy in your life.
Yes.
Imagine one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Say they started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And they know you play guitar.
Yeah.
And they go, Chris, check this out.
Yeah.
And they play Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
You'd go, hell yeah, dude. That's how I feel about this whole movie. This whole movie's a little boy going, dude, look how cool this is. Me going, you know what? It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we got one other film. It's a triple threat this week, which is rare. We haven't done a triple threat in a while.
Ka-chow, yeah.
Yeah. 1987, winner of 3 Academy Awards.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Moonstruck. I'm going to read the back of this thing, and then you can give me the rundown of who made it, how much money it made and stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm holding a VHS copy with I'm going to read the blurb on the back. All right? But I should also say that it won Best Screenplay. Best Actress. Best Supporting Actress. And Best Actor? So I guess 4 Academy Awards? Or maybe one of them is just nominated for? It might have just been nominated for the screenplay one, but it won the other ones. Anyways. Fall under the delightful spell of Moonstruck, the mesmerizing romantic comedy from director Norman Jewison. Fiddler on the Roof. He did Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh.
And Academy winner John Patrick Stanley. Academy Award winners Cher, Nicolas Cage, and Olympia Dukakis excel in this explosively funny and moving tale, which also features Danny Aiello, Vincent Gardenia, and Frasier's John Mahoney. But Moonstruck is far more than the sum of its talented parts. It's a flawless melody of mirth and mysticism that'll make your spirits soar. Cher is devastatingly funny, sinuous and beautiful as Loretta, the unlucky-in-love Italian widow who suddenly finds romance through the intervention of the Manhattan moon. With her wedding to a close friend just weeks away, she has the misfortune to meet and fall hopelessly in love with his estranged younger brother, Nicolas Cage. Her dilemma and her equally passionate and hilariously eccentric family make for an unforgettable film you'll find beguiling, enchanting, and irresistible. That is according to Time Magazine, Newsweek, and The Today Show.
Sorry, I got a text from my mom that was
Concerning?
No, it was a picture of her TV with Joseph Gordon-Levitt on it, and she said, who is this guy? So I had to let her know it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Nice.
She's doing my part. Sorry. Moonstruck.
Nicholas Jewison?
1987, directed by by Norman Jewison. Written by John Patrick Shanley.
Yeah.
Starring Cher, Nick Cage, all those people you just said.
Yeah.
Budget, $15 million. Box office? Want to take a swing?
180.
122. Now, I'd never seen this movie.
Me neither.
Knew very little about it, other than
I've been meaning for a long time. The only thing I knew of it was I have seen clips from the date night of like Nick Cage and Cher out dressed up. So that was my only window into what this movie could possibly be.
This movie starts with just a bunch of sweeping shots of New York, and they're playing That's Amore.
Yes.
Which I hate. So sick of that song. I've heard it a million, because I'm an Italian man.
Yeah.
I've heard it a million times growing up in my entire life. First note I wrote, hope this movie isn't super Italian.
Yeah. It is.
And then the rest of the movie is maybe the most, it's
I've
more
never
Italian
seen
than The
Mamma
Godfather.
Mia, but this feels like cooler Mamma Mia.
Could be. Actually, I think Mamma Mia might be pretty cool, because it's got music from ABBA in it.
Oh, yeah, that song goes crazy. Mamma Mia, here I go again.
You know, I think,
I cannot resist you.
if I'm correct, I believe Mamma Mia is a musical with just music from ABBA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so maybe we should watch Mamma Mia sometime.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to watch the one that like came out, or if like there's an older thing that we could see, like the one that came out in like 2006. You know what I'm saying? With like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's I hear it's really good. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, heard.
A Mamma Mia film. Mamma Mia is a 2008 jukebox musical romantic comedy.
Kind of like Across the Universe. Does it not predate that? Was it not like a Broadway show before that or anything like that?
It was a musical, yeah.
Yeah.
And before that, a book.
Yeah.
Don't know how you do that as a book.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch it someday, because it's got
Yeah.
Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan in it.
Heard.
So
Yes, chef. It's a pregnant pause, man. Come on, give birth. What
hey
do you
man,
got?
there's fucking two of us on here. Say something. Chris, what'd you think of Moonstruck?
I loved it. I went and saw it at the Redford Theater.
Ooh.
It was beguiling, enchanting, and irresistible.
Beautiful. Love
You
it.
know, genuinely. They had an intermission.
Really?
Didn't think it was necessary. It's like an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hour 40 minutes.
I started Moonstruck last night. Fell asleep pretty quickly. Hate to
Sure.
admit it. So I had to wake up early today and watch both of these movies.
Nice.
I was like, I'm gonna start with Moonstruck because I don't want Nick Cage Ghost Rider stank on me while I watch Moonstruck. You know,
Yeah.
watch Moonstruck,
Yeah.
and then I started Ghost Rider, really pushing it. Had to get here soon. I went, you are fucking kid. There's no shot that Ghost Rider's 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What did you think?
through most of Moonstruck, I was like, okay. I mean, I like this here and there. It was making me laugh pretty often. But
Yes, it was, yeah.
I was like, but overall, I was like, kind of like the same thing I had with The Godfather, where it's just like, this is just a lot of very Italian people being very Italian in a way that I don't love.
Yeah.
And then by the end, when they're all in that kitchen, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I love Moonstruck.
Yeah, I love it so much.
This movie's really good.
Yeah,
I
it
really,
charmed me
really enjoyed
immediately.
Moonstruck. Yeah.
Even just from the beginning, like, they're at, like, dinner, and they're just kind of, like, so casually talking about, like, well, yeah, we should probably, like, get married, right? And, like, it's just like, come on, get down on your knee. If you're going to propose to me the right way and stuff, you know? Yeah, it just immediately, like, you know, I know we watched Happiness for the thing. It reminded me a bit of, like, the John Lovitz, like, scene in the very beginning of Happiness where he's like, no, you don't get to keep it.
Yes,
Because- yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And then after that, he's just like, basically like, my mother, she's in Sicily. She's dying. I got to go take care of her. Now, while I'm gone, I need you to talk to my younger brother. We haven't talked in 5 years, but he needs to be at the wedding, okay? I want to bury the axe, and so I'm going to leave, and you get a hold of him. You tell him he's got to come to this wedding, you know?
And
So he leaves, and I don't like him.
I don't like him immediately, but she's watching the airplane, and a little old lady goes, you know someone on that plane?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. She goes,
It's like, I hope it
She
crashes.
goes, I put a curse on that
Yeah.
plane. And I thought, why ain't nobody doing curses anymore?
And then she's like, well, yeah, I don't believe in rehearsals. And the lady's like, neither do I.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great, hilarious.
And oh yeah, at this point I wrote down on my notes, are there any people in this movie who are not Italian? Turns out no. Like that little old lady she ran into at the airport is crazy Italian.
Hell yeah.
Just everyone in this movie except for maybe the guy that the mom is kind of on a date with later. He's not Italian, but we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
She goes and sees her dad to tell him that she's getting married, to tell all of her family that she lives with them, so she's going to go tell them they're all getting married. They don't like this man. They don't like this man. She goes, Dad, where's Mom? Nah, she's laying down. What are you doing? Why aren't you asleep? I don't sleep anymore. Yeah. It's too much like death.
Yeah. Hilarious. And then they go wake up Mom to tell.
She goes, I'm marrying Johnny, whatever his name is.
Johnny Blaze.
I'm marrying Johnny Blaze. He goes, I don't like him. What do you mean you don't like him? He smiles, I can't see his teeth. What is he hiding?
The movie's so fucking funny.
It's so fucking funny.
I didn't expect to laugh out loud constantly. And I did. I really did.
What is that ring you're wearing? That's a pinky ring. Oh, it's temporary. Everything's temporary. What excuse is that?
Did you write these down?
Yes.
That's good. Thank you. Because, there's part of me that was like, it was a while ago for me for Moonstruck. It's like there was part of me that was like, man, if I get the chance, like I'm gonna watch it again so that I can do that, so I can write down. I didn't get the chance.
I started writing down everything her dad was saying because I was like, this is the funny guy in the movie, and then immediately I realized like, oh no, everybody speaks like this in the movie, so I kind of dropped off until the end.
That's all right.
So she goes and tells her mom, who seems to be the same age as her. This woman, what was her name? Olympia Dukakis.
Yeah, she looks like later on when she's on that pseudo date with that guy, she kind of looks like Aunt May.
Oh yeah, it's the shawl. It's a thing over her head. Absolutely.
Scariest thing in the world when I was a kid was in the Green Goblins in the Burning House, and he's like, ooh, like he's
yeah. As a kid, I would have to fast forward through that. And then there's that part where Harry finds him on the floor, and he goes, what happened to you last night? And he goes, and there's just a quick flash of him going, That always scared me. I had to fast forward through both of those parts. So she goes and tells her mom, and her mom's just like, do you love him? And she goes, no. And she goes, good. If you love him, it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah. You know what I feel like I'd never be doing anymore? I just don't be fast forwarded.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Maybe like streaming like a TV show or something. I don't know, but I just feel like hitting the fast forward button on a remote is something I haven't done in a while.
That's a great point, yeah. Because if I'm ever watching a movie, I'm like, I'm going to watch the whole thing. And if there's a part I don't care about, I'm going to go do something else, and then I'll come back. I'm just going to let this bad boy play.
Anyways, continue what you're saying.
She tells her mom, and then
I think she tries to call up the bakery.
No, she does it the next morning because she's like, oh, fuck, I totally forgot.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me look at this Wikipedia page real quick.
Okay, do you think?
Okay, I guess really that's pretty much the next thing that happens. We see Dad doing pipe work and then telling it to his mistress.
Yes.
And then she goes to the bakery.
Yeah.
And oh boy.
The bakery scene. It's great.
Tank-topped, coal shovel Nick Cage is maybe the only time in my life I actually have gotten like a real urge to be like, I gotta hit the gym.
Yeah.
I gotta look like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Nick Cage looks, even with his bum hand, looks so good in this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And he's like, my brother. He's like, I lose my hand because of my brother. I lost my hand. I lost my bride, or whatever. Johnny gets to have a hand. He gets to have his bride, or whatever. And he's going on, or whatever. And he's like, now Cheryl, or whatever her name is, bring me the big knife. And she's like, I'm not gonna bring you a big knife today. He's like, bring me the big knife because I'm gonna slit my throat. I'm gonna kill myself right in front of you.
I love it.
Yeah, so good. He's going off. It's great. They like wander out, and then like, she's just standing there. The lady that was being requested to grab the big knife. She's like, what a tortured soul. I've always been in love with him. Only he doesn't know. On account of I never told him.
I love it. It's so sad.
On account of I never told him. It's so funny.
And I can't remember exactly how he says it, but I think it's next, like the next time the two of them are talking, where he's like, I got my hand caught in the thing because he distracted me, and I lost my hand, and I lost my woman. And she goes, that's not his fault. And he says something along the lines of like, what, do I look like a judge? I don't care.
Yeah. Then they go upstairs, and she like cooks him a steak, and they kiss and stuff, and it's good. It's fun.
Immediate. Yeah. She doesn't I didn't really like get it until
but
this
I feel
point.
like they got chemistry.
I feel like they got chemistry, but I didn't really think about it. Where it's like, oh, she actually does not give a shit about her fiance.
No,
like from go.
Yeah. They're just doing it because like she's like, I mean, it's about time, and I kind of need a husband.
I'm 30. Her first husband got hit by a bus.
Yeah. She also lost her bride.
She also lost her bride. Also, don't believe that Cher's 37 in this movie. Crazy.
Yeah. Then they sex.
Then they sex immediately.
And then there's all that thing about like the big old moon. That's Martin's moon or whatever.
Everyone's so horny for the moon, and I love it.
I love it too. Yeah.
There's a big compilation later of everybody.
Remember, like they're all around that like gravesite, and like the old Italian men are just like yeah, the moon brings a woman to a man or something like that.
Yeah,
What's it say? Or
yeah.
like bringing a man to the moon or something. Whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Also, Dad doesn't want to pay for the wedding, and Dad's
Love that.
dad goes, gotta tell my son he's got to pay for this wedding. And all his friends are like, then tell him. He's like, gotta wait for the right moment. And then I think it's like, I don't know, people are sitting down eating dinner all the time, but I think it's when her boss is having dinner with her parents, is talking about the moon. Oh yeah, her boss is her uncle. Yeah. He's talking about the moon and stuff like that, and Grandpa gets up to go feed the 4 dogs, and he sits back down. He gets back up to feed the 4 dogs again. The mom goes, if you give more of my food to those dogs, I'll kick you in the head until you're dead.
Yes, I remember that line. That's really fucking funny. Yeah, John Hunter or whatever would like to have a word with you. There's a lawsuit in that for you. That's a Maxxine joke. That's a Mia Goth kicking a guy in the head
Oh,
joke.
right.
What's his name? John Hunter?
Something like that.
Whatever. Anyways, try to do a callback. Doesn't always work.
Oh, James Hunter, you were so close.
So close.
John could be short for James. It can't. Anyway, she wakes up the next morning and goes, oh, Mamma Mia, what did I do? She goes and gets changed in the closet.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, but, I love you. And she's like, oh, fucking shut up. Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you ever been to the opera?
Yeah.
She's like, I said stop talking to me. He's like, just go to the opera.
One
I'll
time,
leave you
he's like, I
alone
love the
forever."
opera. I love you. To have the 2 things in one night. I could be a happy man and leave you alone for the rest of your life. I could just have that.
And she goes, fine. He goes, okay, meet me at the Met. And then she leaves, and then she comes back and goes, where's the Met? Which I thought was very funny. And then she goes to confession and says,
Yeah, she tries to bury it.
yeah.
She's like, I can't remember exactly what, but she's like, I forgot to deposit money from my uncle. I had an affair with my fiance, and also sometimes I'm mean to my mom. And he's like, yes, but what was that middle thing?
And he's
good.
like, that's a big deal. She goes, I know. And he goes, think about it.
yeah.
And then she sees her mom at the church, and she's like, where you been all night? She's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe it's a personal experience for me, but I feel like as an Italian, I don't want to talk about it. Never ends a conversation.
Yeah.
And it ends so many conversations in this movie. And her mom's like, yeah, your dad's cheating on me. And she's like,
why do you think that, Mom? What?
She's
Why
like,
do you-
I just kind of know.
Yeah.
And then,
She goes, gets her hair done. She gets a dress. She's supposed to deposit money for her uncle and aunt, but she forgets to.
womp womp. And
It's a Wonderful Life.
it is. It is. And then, has anything happened in between there?
No, she's getting dolled up for the thing.
Yeah. And then she goes through the thing.
But who else is at the thing?
Daddy and his
Daddy's and the mistress.
weird
yeah.
mistress, and which is weird because I'm saying this knowing she's like what, probably like 60, 70 years old in this movie.
Yeah.
His wife is so hot. Why are you with this weird looking lady when you could be at home banging your hot wife, dude?
Yeah.
Bring her to the opera. Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't understand affairs.
They look at that big painting at the opera, and Nick Cage is like, "It's beautiful. He was a great artist.
Great
She goes-
artist.
She goes, kind of gaudy. He goes, yeah, he was having some fun.
That's good. She loves the opera by the end of it. She's crying about it. They have an enchanting evening. He says he actually thanks her for being so hot. He's like, thank you for getting dressed up and stuff, whatever. Yeah, it's great.
I just looked at the Wikipedia page to see what was up with it, and I went, the first sentence I read is, and gives him a lever action shotgun before bidding farewell and having finally shaken off the curse. Oh, this is Ghost Rider.
Then they bump into Papa and the mistress. That's a very funny exchange. Because she's like, I didn't see you here. And he was like, I didn't know what are you talking about? Whatever. And
Yeah, he's like, what? He's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? He's like, you're engaged. You're married. He goes, I'm not gonna have you out here looking like some kind of whore. And he goes, but Mom. And he's like, yeah, I didn't see you here. He's like, I guess I didn't see you here either. It's crazy.
And then he's just like, tips his hat and
Yeah.
leaves, whatever. Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Mom goes to get dinner by herself.
And bumps into the guy from the beginning.
Guy
Who
from
keeps
the beginning.
getting water thrown in his face by 18-year-old girls.
Yeah. Which I like all of her interactions with him because this
Yeah.
guy sucks and he's a sleazebag. But every time she says anything to him, this guy very clearly is like, "Oh yeah, I know."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I'm just dumb and it happens every single time. Why do men chase women?" She's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And
I
then-
love that scene later when the OG fiance shows up and she asks him, and he's like, I don't know, maybe because they're afraid of death. She's like, exactly. Thank you.
Yes, that's such an Italian mother thing to do, but I love when she keeps asking anybody.
Just looking for someone to say what
exactly what
wants,
she's been saying, and I love the way she says it. She's like, thank you. You have answered my question. It's like, no. That's not what happened.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, they have this thing where, like, by the end of it, he's kind of like, can I come in your house and fuck you? And she's like, no, I'm married. This was just a nice little conversation we had. This is not a date or anything like that.
Hey, why don't you come to my apartment and see how the other half lives?
Yeah, but her dad does see her out on the walk or whatever, and obviously assumes the worst. You know.
Because he's just been out getting his dogs. I love that. That's what I want as an old man.
Yeah.
I just want to be walking around with 4 dogs and seeing the full moon and going, hey, let's all howl at this moon, friends of mine.
Yeah, I love when he howls and the dogs start to howl. Yes, beautiful, love it. Yeah, the movie's just got such a good, like, you know, this is definitely like a movie I can see myself, like, I'm having a bad day, just pop that bitch in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's a good one. Kind of like Back to the Future is like another one that I put in that category.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
Like, you know,
yeah.
Just put it on. I got
Just
a cold and I just want to be cheered up, you know. Just,
Yeah. Even if I'm not watching it, if I catch part of Moonstruck, if I catch part of the Back to the Future, it's going to make me feel a little bit better. Yeah. And then they come home from the opera, and he's like, come on up to my place. And she's like...
I love their exchange here, where, you know, she says that thing or whatever. He's like, why didn't you wait? Or whatever. She's like, because you never came or whatever. He's like, I'm right here. And she's like, you're late.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
And
it's like, it's my classic movie problem. Like, you guys have known each other for 2, maybe 3 days. I don't buy this at all, but it's very, like, Shakespearean. So I'm like, I'll let it slide. So I can imagine your husband's been gone for a month and you guys fell in love. But still, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I like Nick Cage's little speech here. He's like, it's all bullshit. Love sucks and it's
makes
scary.
other things shitty. And yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, husband coming home, mom is better.
I love when she shows up at her mom's house where she lives. And her mom's like, you got fucking hickeys on your neck. And then when he shows up too, and she's like, he's got hickeys on his neck. You know?
Love it.
Yeah, and I love this. Like, everybody, like, slowly accumulating in the kitchen. Everyone's showing up every time the doorbell rings. Everyone's all, you know, blood runs cold. And then eventually, just, like, he shows up and he's like, yeah, I can't marry you. My mom pulled through as soon as I said we're getting married, so if we get married, she's going to die. And she's like, oh, well, perfect, because I'm in love with your brother and we can't get married. And he's, like, kind of mad, but also, like, okay with it. And, like, everything's just happily ever after in, like, a way that doesn't feel like... It just feels good. It just feels like a good, you know?
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
like...
good.
Yeah, like, mom looks at her husband and goes, I want you to stop seeing her.
Yeah.
And he goes... And she stands up and hits the table once and sits back down and goes, okay.
Yeah.
And then... I'm trying to think. There's a few moments at this dinner scene at the end or breakfast that I love. I love that the aunt and uncle show up to get the money, only seemingly to just have 2 more people in that room because that's funny.
Yeah. They show up and they're all being like kind of somber and stuff, and they're like, yeah, went down to the bank. Money never got deposited. She's like, oh my god, I forgot about it. It's right here in my coat. And they're like, oh, thank God. All right, let's get a plate to eat and stuff.
We never thought it was you. Never for a second.
Yeah.
And then he proposes to her, and everyone's like, yay! And everyone's crying and stuff, and the dad looks at the grandpa and goes, what's wrong, Pop? And he goes, I'm confused.
Yeah, I love that. It's so funny. So yeah, I say this is a movie with a golden sense of humor and also a golden heart. You know, it just really, you know, knocked it out of the park for me. I didn't imagine that it would, but here we are, and it did, you know?
Yeah, I love when a movie can have literally every plot point in a movie wrap up in a scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. That was great.
Feel-good movie of the year for me if we do, well, when we get around to our awards for next year. A new category.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna win it.
I'm gonna give Moonstruck an A-.
I'm gonna give it an A+.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, what Bond film are we watching next week?
To Live and Die in
L.A. What Saw are we on? Saw 7?
That's a good question.
I think we're on Saw 7.
I'll look for Bond, you look for Saw.
It's called Saw 3D. It has a 9% on Rotten Tomato.
Hell yeah. We're watching The Spy Who Loved Me next week.
Ooh. Wish we were watching The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Wowie zowie.
Yeah. Great. 1977. 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Ooh, this one's set in Egypt and Italy. Isn't that exciting?
Oh.
And the Bahamas.
I'm sure that's not going to be offensive at all.
No. I'm sure we're not going to see a single pharaoh.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a KGB agent called Triple X. I'm excited for that. Oh, this one's got Jaws in it. Oh, I'm so excited for James Bond now.
You know who's got Jaws teeth?
Who's that?
Kanye West has Jaws teeth.
Does he?
Yeah, he spent like almost $1 million replacing his teeth with titanium chompers.
When did he do this?
Like a year ago. You didn't know this?
No, I think every time I see him, he's got a mask on lately. So
Do you got it?
I'm looking at it. Yeah. The artist formerly known as Kanye West has a new metallic look as a representative. Ye initially confirmed to Today.com on January 18th that the performer has gotten titanium dentures installed recently by Dr. Thomas Connolly, a Beverly Hills, California-based dentist. On Friday, a representative clarified that they are permanent titanium teeth.
Yes, like he got all of his teeth removed so that these could be put in his mouth. So he has no teeth in his mouth outside of these titanium dentures.
They're like, yeah, one big solid piece.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even have the shape of teeth to them. So,
No.
like, what do you think eating is like?
I don't know. I can't imagine, like, in my mind, I imagine mildly painful for some reason. I can't imagine a world where that isn't discomforting. You know?
Yeah, $850,000.
Yeah. Life-altering money.
Mm-hmm. Life-altering teeth.
Yeah. Not the move that a mentally well man makes.
No.
You know?
No.
And it's just stuff like that, like, I'm not trying at all to defend Kanye West, but sometimes people are like, did you hear what Kanye said? And it's like, this is a man with metal teeth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if we should be listening to what he says.
Yeah, we should,
Like,
we should all start thinking about that more. Yeah.
yeah, like, you guys getting pretty mad about a man who had all of his teeth removed so he could have metal teeth like a villain from a James Bond film. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, Kanye West's new titanium teeth make an appearance.
It'd be funny if, like, there were headlines that were like, this just in, metal teeth, big win for Kanye. You know, everyone's loving the metal teeth, you know?
Turns out way easier to eat. He might have been onto something.
Yeah. We forgive him. Metal teeth, good look. He's looking great. This is awesome.
If he wasn't, like, anti-Semitic and also clearly mentally unwell,
Mm-hmm.
and he, let's say, I don't know, name a different rapper.
Travis Scott?
Tomorrow, if Kanye West had never done that, tomorrow you saw a post that was like, hey, Travis Scott has replaced all of his teeth with a big titanium Jaws teeth. I'd be like, that's the sickest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just flummoxed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Flabbergasted. Well, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I'd say so. I got nothing else to say.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. That is that Mattress Man. If you need more soup, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or go to our website, eatingsoupalone.com. And until next time...